Before the world called him a president, before statues bore his name and cities echoed his legacy, Nelson Mandela was simply a man with a question. How can one lead without dominating? How can someone inspire without shouting? From dusty village paths to prison yards and presidential halls, Mandela's leadership was never about ruling over people. It was about standing with them. In a world thirsty for power, he chose purpose. In times of chaos, he chose calm. This episode uncovers the quiet but profound secrets behind Mandela's leadership and why they matter now more than ever. Mandela never saw leadership as a title. For him, it was a responsibility. Raised among elders and tribal councils, he observed how the best leaders were often the last to speak. They listened first, carefully, deeply, then, and only then, they shared their wisdom. Young Mandela learned early that true influence was about who spoke the loudest. It was about who understood the most. And that's where his first secret begins. Leadership starts with listening. Long before the microphones and media, Mandela sat cross-legged beside Chief Jongintaba, witnessing how disputes were settled through patience, not pride. He saw that people wanted more than commands. They wanted to be heard. And Mandela remembered. Decades later, whether negotiating in prison or meeting foreign leaders, he often paused, absorbing every word before responding. His silence was never weakness, it was strategy. He taught that leaders don't react, they reflect. Another of Mandela's powerful traits was his ability to inspire through example. He didn't just talk about sacrifice, he lived it. When others compromised their morals for power or comfort, Mandela stood firm. He refused early offers of release from prison because they came with conditions. Conditions that would betray his people's struggle. He chose 27 years behind bars instead of abandoning the cause. That decision, that unwavering stand, became a beacon for generations. Leadership, Mandela believed, wasn't about saying the right words. It was about becoming the right example. And yet he was never driven by revenge. Not once did Mandela use his authority to punish those who had oppressed him. Instead, he taught the world that forgiveness is a leadership superpower. After all the humiliation, all the years lost, he invited his former jailers to his inauguration. He shook hands with those who once tried to break him, and in doing so, he broke the cycle of hate. In his own words, resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. That wasn't just a quote. It was his guiding light. Mandela's leadership was also rooted in something rare today, serving others before serving self. He often said that a good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. Whether walking into crowded townships or attending global summits, he saw every person as equal. He didn't demand loyalty. He earned it by showing respect. Even as president, he made his own bed, wore simple clothes, and greeted cleaning staff with the same honor as visiting dignitaries. He led by being human, not heroic. In today's world, where leadership is often mistaken for dominance, Mandela's lessons strike deeper than ever. He taught that to lead, you must first know how to follow, how to walk behind your people until they trust you to walk ahead. He believed that vision without humility leads to tyranny, but vision with humility, that leads to transformation. Mandela also embraced the power of hope as a leadership tool. In the darkest corners of Robben Island, where chains clanged and sunlight was a luxury, he still believed in a future of equality. He uplifted fellow prisoners with poetry, laughter, and dreams. He reminded them they were more than inmates. They were builders of a new nation. That ability to see beyond the bars, to imagine freedom while still confined, is a rare and precious gift. Great leaders don't just see what is, they see what could be and help others believe in it too. He mastered the art of strategic patience. While many leaders want instant results, Mandela played the long game. He waited, he listened, built alliances even with former enemies, and when the time came, he acted with clarity and purpose. His ability to delay ego in favor of outcome is a leadership discipline few possess, but every modern leader needs. Mandela was also fiercely authentic. He never pretended to be flawless. He admitted mistakes, apologized when necessary, and laughed at himself. That vulnerability didn't weaken his image. It humanized it. It taught us that strength isn't about perfection, it's about presence. Real leaders don't hide behind masks. They stand firm in their truth. His leadership style reminds us that charisma may win attention, but character wins legacy. Mandela's impact didn't come from dramatic speeches or grand gestures. It came from decades of consistent values. From choosing humility in victory, from holding on to peace when revenge was easier, from putting people above politics. These are the traits that make leadership timeless. So what can we, today's generation, learn from Mandela? We can learn to listen more and speak less, to lead from the heart, not just the head, to serve before we seek status, to rise above pain and choose peace, to stand by our principles, even when no one's watching. And perhaps most importantly, to be the kind of leader the world actually needs. Not louder, but wiser. Because in the end, Mandela didn't just teach leadership, it became the very definition of it. Mandela's leadership secrets aren't locked in history. They're alive, breathing, waiting to be practiced again. Whether you lead a classroom, a company, or just yourself. His example holds the key. In the next episode of this series, we'll step into the courtroom where his voice shook the pillars of injustice. You'll witness the Rivonia trial, not just as a legal battle, but as a moral stand that changed history. So stay with us. Subscribe, share your thoughts below, and always remember, the world needs fewer rulers and more leaders, and leadership. True leadership starts with character.